Many phenomena born at the dawn of history and miraculously reached us through centuries and millenniums became legends. They are many on the earth. Armenia is a living legend because it is not as much a country as its people, and people are the creators and carriers of the legend named Armenia. And who are the Armenians? You cannot tell it in one sentence. Armenians are the mountains of their country, and their symbol is Ararat. Armenians are the creative work, and their symbol is stone. Armenians are the memory, and their symbol is book. Armenians are the sound, and their symbol is duduk. Armenians are the faith, and their symbol is church. Let us start with Ararat. Ararat is a personification of grandeur, of nobleness, of justice, and what is the most important, of freedom. And it is not so important that Ararat is located at the territory of other state today. For the legend and symbol, it is not that important. Noah descended to Ararat Valley after the world flood, planted a vineyard, and the mankind for the first time experienced the taste of wine and felt its effect when Noah tasted that vivifying drink at the foot of Ararat. Ararat Valley is a unique place protected from the wind by high mountains and warmed by the hot sun of Armenia. After the millenniums of winemaking, the Armenians started to smoke out the brandy spirit using classic French technology since 1887. Already in 1907, a bronze medal was awarded to the first Armenian vintage brandy in French town of Bordeaux. Armenian brandy Ararat is not only the generosity of wine, tradition and mastership, but also the national coloring and history of Ararat Valley. And the history of Ararat Valley is the history of Armenians. It is a history of making bread from stone in some sense. To some degree, it is the stone itself connected with eternity in human understanding. So what can be created from the stone so abundant in Armenia? Not without reason, Armenia is called a geological museum or a museum in the open. One can build towns, temples, fortresses, bridges, and houses, and there are still more than 4,500 architectural monuments. And how many have been destroyed? There is still a great amount of stone, as the monuments of nature, as the handmade ones, like the artist Tsarian, the architect Tamanyan, the composers Khachaturian, Babajanian, and Komitas. One can immortalize us, the mere mortals, because each man is unique and valuable by himself. One can remind us in a laconic way why there are more Armenians living out of Armenia than in Armenia. And one can cut the tree from the stone, the tree of life, and strew those trees all over the land of Armenia. And now the life-giving cross as a sacred sign goes to tell Ararat country that the tree of death, Echmiadzin cross stone with crucifixion, with the blood of the Savior, is transformed into the tree of life. Life-giving cross stones are highly artistic architectural monuments. Fine processing of the stone, sacral abstractionism, and at last, it is a unique contribution of Christianity of Armenian people into the world treasury of culture. But the most important is that every cross stone for each Armenian is, first of all, an altar, a church. And the very first cross stone, as well as the very first church in Armenia, was built by Gregory the Illuminator. And the spot he chose was not random, for Jesus Christ pointed the spot descending in the pillar of light. It happened in 301. To commemorate the event, the church was called Echmiadzin, which is the only begotten Son of God descended here. Since that time up to now, at the sacred not only for Armenians, but for the whole Christian world place, each Sunday the liturgy is solemnized. Just think of it, over 1,700 years. The world-famous collection was initiated by the Armenian Church. These manuscripts, as well as the alphabet, are the pride and shrine of every Armenian. Look into a soul of the people who are proud of their alphabet and creates the monuments to it, sure from the stone. The people who canonized the ordinary monk living in the 5th century for creating the alphabet. Mesrop Mashtots himself founded the first monastic schools, which gradually grew into the centers of creation of many illuminated manuscripts. The manuscripts and miniatures became inseparable, just one magnificent artwork. The paints and ink were usually prepared by the masters themselves from natural materials. The most valuable of them was Vordan, the worm living in Ararat Valley deep underground and only once in a year coming out to the surface. From the pigment of the worm, the red paint was made. That paint, Vordan Karmir, was known at the world market as Armenian red. Each manuscript has its unique face. Each manuscript has its history, like man, and bears on itself the marks of fate. These manuscripts have much to tell. They can even sing hundreds of tunes having original musical notation created in the 9th century, so-called chazer, which allowed to fix the exact melody. The spiritual Armenian music developed into the beautiful pieces of melodious compositions for choir, sharakans. Thanks to that musical notation, people in Armenia sing today the songs created millenniums ago. In the works of medieval physicians, one can find that they prescribed the songs of the bards, folk singers, as therapeutic agent for fevers caused by various emotional experiences. In the 18th century, a very talented folk bard Zayat Nova, in his song about kamancha, very popular in Armenian musical instrument, original viola di gamba, sang, "You kamancha, fill with joy deeply upset heart, and cut the fever of the sick." Of course, viola di gamba was not the only instrument in the musical culture of Armenians. We can imagine the instrumental music of those remote times with the help of quotation from the manuscript of the 5th century historian, who witnessed the music sounding at the feast of Armenian king. The drummers, the pipe players, lyra players, trumpeters, each in their own way, thundered together in different voices. There is an instrument in Armenia among the others which is as inseparably connected with the spirit of the country as this tree. This is an apricot tree. What is so special in it? First of all, one thinks of its fruit. Armenia is famous with its apricots for being the motherland of it. Not many people know that apricot was spread all over the world thanks to Alexander the Great, who took an apricot tree to Greece during his campaign. From there it went to Roman Empire, and the Latin name of apricot since that time and up till now is Prunus armeniaca, Armenian plum. The main thing in Armenian apricot is that it could be not only tasted, but also heard. For Armenians made an instrument exactly from apricot tree, the sound of which has no analogues among other nations. It is duduk, the tender sound of which rose high into the air along with spirit and breath of morning nature, and sounded from far height like a dream. Today these sounds are heard all over the planet, becoming the fashionable component of movies and concerts. Motherland, duduk is a thought and the sincere song of a man chained to the stone. When Armenian duduk is heard, the soul of Armenian is heard. This is the land where the legend was born. The name of the legend is Armenia.